Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Eddie Hearn and Derek Chisora obviously have a good relationship because Eddie Hearn is still getting Derek Chisora fights. Derek Chisora just inked a contract for a July return. He's hoping to fight, Kownacki, the babyface, Polish, very tough fighter. But at what point do we say they need to just knock it off and call it quits for Derek Chisora? Derek Chisora goes on to say that, in interviews, how he just wants to fight the best in his era. He wants the day where he calls it quits to be able to say that he fought everybody. And he's even called out Deontay Wilder and said he wants to taste that power to see what it feels like. But Eddie Hearn is doing whatever he can for Derek Chisora, right? And I understand that Eddie Hearn they must be friends, the relationship. And Eddie Hearn, from a business perspective, he can still make a lot of money off of Chisora. But Eddie Hearn has suggested to Chisora to even stop fighting. But Chisora is pressing Eddie Hearn to still get him fights. So Eddie Hearn is doing that. But for me, I think Derek Chisora, because the amount of damage he took in the Parker fight, that second fight, that's just too much. Getting hit like that, getting beat like that. Derek Chisora has been taking shots and getting beat for a long time. True, he still sounds good, still looks good. Cognitively, he's still there. But at what point will those effects of those hard, heavyweight shots start to show up in Derek Chisora? See, that's my concern. When is that punishment going to start to show? And by then it may be too late because it can come on really quickly and he can deteriorate really quickly as well. So I'm not thrilled to see Derek Chisora back in the ring. I think they were very careful in trying to pick an opponent, Kownacki, to fight for July 9th. Now the thing is this, Kownacki hasn't signed the contract or committed himself to a particular fight. I think Kownacki also understands that he's looking to turn his career around, just like Derek Chisora. Now the thing with Chisora is Chisora lost 3 fights in a row. He lost to Usyk, he lost 2 to Joseph Parker. And then with Kownacki, he lost 2 to Helenius. And the first one, he got beat pretty good. But the second fight with Helenius, Kownacki that was like a career-ending type beating that he took. So as far as Kownacki and trying to get back in the heavyweight picture to get himself back in line for a title shot, I just don't think Kownacki has it. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's like an Earl Spence, but without the true skill. A high volume puncher, just non-stop work rate. Pretty impressive to watch throw that many punches, but it's really the skill level is not there. Where Earl Spence is an extremely high volume of punches, but there's a high skill level as well. What you're seeing is a heavyweight here who throws that volume of punches like Earl Spence, but nowhere near the skill level. And as a result, that's why he gets countered, he gets beat down, he's gotten beat down, and in all of his fights, he gets hit. He just keeps pushing through it, getting, clobbered like that. And it just caught up with him when he was fighting Helenius. But we're going to see what happens going forward, man. Just to be honest with you, Derek Chisora wanting to fight everybody, I'm just not sure he's going to get to that point. It's one thing to love what you do. And in boxing, I think we as fans enjoy seeing fighters who love to get in there and entertain and put it all on the line. But I think it's okay for Derek Chisora to kind of duck and dive some of these fights and just go ahead and call it quits. I just think he's going to get hurt. I honestly do. He's not that Joe Frazier cross-arm defense that he uses, that can only get him so far. For him to go in a fight with a guy like Kownacki, I'm not even sure, kind of hard to say, but Derek Chisora hits hard, man. But is he going to be able to beat a guy like Kownacki, who can overwhelm him and keep him busy with his shots, and then eventually start to get some of his own off? I don't know, but I think Kownacki is also smart enough to say, hold on, do I go in there and fight a guy like Chisora who can get me out with one shot? So they both have some stuff they need to worry about, but I'm not confident Kownacki's going to sign for the fight. Kownacki needs to be looking at someone else in the heavyweight division for him to get in there and fight where he can actually get, an easy win. I'm not saying he needs to start doing the whole cherry picking thing, but for this comeback fight, till he gets his confidence back and see how his stamina is, because he got winded against Hellenius. And if he can come back and look good against a little cherry pick, then after that, take on a Chisora. But just to come back into Chisora, although he's been losing and he's had three losses, back-to-back losses, Chisora's been active. So that's to Chisora's advantage, the fact that he's been active. Kownacki hasn't been active. He just recently had a child. He's out there being, playing daddy and living a very happy, comfortable life. But at the same time, these guys got to make a living. So for that reason, I could see Kownacki taking the fight, but I see him being very apprehensive and really, thinking this out. But if the fight's going to happen in July, they need to come out and sign a contract in so Eddie Hearn can make the announcement. Excuse me. But I guess we'll see what happens, man. But I think it'll be a tremendous fight if they do make it. But at this point for Derek Chisora, he's actually trying to be more intelligent in his decision making. I think Eddie Hearn has talked to him, and Chisora is realizing that he's coming to the end of his rope, and it's time to start looking for some fights to really put him into an excellent position for retirement. My understanding is Derek Chisora is financially sound, financially secure. He's made a lot of money in boxing, and he can thank the English fans and Eddie Hearn for that. But at the same time, what good is it having, $20-30 million if you really can't spend it, you can't appreciate it, you really can't look and understand your bank statements because your mind is gone from the years of taking beatings. And believe you me, if Kownacki signs that contract and Derek Chisora goes to fight him, Derek Chisora is going to take more shots. I'm not saying it's going to be a long fight because I think Derek Chisora is going to get his shots off on Kownacki too. I think Derek could take a better punch than Kownacki. But I just don't think Derek Chisora has anything left to prove. I mean, he's not beaten Deontay Wilder. He's not beaten Joe Joyce. He's not beaten, he would never fight AJ anyway, but he's not beating any of those guys, the elite. So I'm not sure what he's doing, but I mean, if Eddie Hearn's going to keep writing the checks and he writes, handsome checks, and he may be able to lure a few more, big name heavyweight fighters to get in there with him. But at this point, Derek Chisora, in my opinion, just needs to go and just take a chill pill, retire, and enjoy the rest of his life before he gets serious hurt. Because if he comes out here and he clips Kownacki, let's say he knocks him out in the first round. First, I feel bad for Kownacki because he has a young family, and I hate to see people turn their backs on him. I would like that man to make a few million, if he hasn't already, to make sure his family is straight. Like, that to me is something that I genuinely wish for these fighters. Get you a little $5 million, man, set it aside, be smart with what you're doing, and if something bad happens to happen, then you got a little money sitting there, you're comfortable, But I don't know Kownacki's financial situation, but after, 15 plus fights and a couple of big fights that he's been in, he should be sitting at about, $5 million, I would assume. But then again, I don't know. Guys have spending habits, they have lifestyles, and you got to maintain that. And they have, some of them have spouses, and if they ain't got that shit under control, they're really in trouble. So we'll see. But Chisora, nothing else to prove, going out there and retire, but look like he's not going to do that. So anyway, man, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. but I definitely feel this fight may come off. And whoever's going to win, I think Chisora beat him. I think Chisora knocked him out within 3 rounds. Chisora been too active. But leave your comments below. Let me know how you feel. Chisora is back in July. If Kownacki signs, expect that to be announced next week. Shout out to the veterans. Y'all keep safe. I appreciate the support. As always, I'm in the breeze.